It's Chelsea's final visit to the great Goodison Park. An occasion of nostalgia and sentiment for many. It's up here for Neto and Palmer and Jackson.
Did Chelsea drop points or instead gain the point? I think the expression half full or half empty can apply here. I may be wrong or right about this expression, but wait, hold on a second. Everyone expected a win from a team that many now consider a title contender, except for its coach, his players, and now the fans, Chelsea FC. They say we aren't title contenders. We are just working one game at a time. Some say they don't even know what the title race is, and some say it's too early. This has become the cold, sarcastic response to those surprised by Chelsea's current achievement in the Premier League this season. 9 games without a loss is no coincidence. It's a mark of a dedicated team with a hard-working leader who would stop at nothing even when many doubted him. Before this game against Everton, Chelsea had not lost or drawn a game in our last 8 games, which is remarkable for a team coming from a bad previous season. What is even more fascinating is the quality of football displayed over the period. This really made a lot of fans, including me, feel a team like Everton would be a walkover. The game could have actually gone in favor of the Blue Boys from London, but something happened. If you give me a second of your valuable audience before the end of this video, I'm going to show you why this game could have been just like the others, counting as part of the Chelsea winning statistics, why we lost, and why giving me your precious audience wasn't a waste of your time. Chelsea's 8-game winning streak came to an abrupt end in our away fixture at the Goodison Park after a hard-fought contest in tricky conditions which ended goalless. The Blues had the better of the chances in the first half, with Nicolas Jackson, the man from the land of Senegal in Africa, hitting the post and drawing a fine save from Jordan Pickford, the English #1. As we handled the win, reins, and Everton's physicality well, Everton grew into the game over time. The tall, lanky Robert Sanchez, who is getting bald quickly due to the pressure of EPL and Chelsea fans, stood out on the day. Oh my God, denying some important goal-scoring opportunities from Everton, including the one from Orel Mangala, and also when he magnified himself to brilliantly stop Jack Harrison, who looked set to score from close range.
Oh, it's popped up here for Harrison.
A performance that got many talking and got him the enviable award of Man of the Moment, aka Man of the Match. Did he deserve it? It's a simple answer. Yes, he did. He came into the game and delivered beyond expectation. Previously, I have been very critical of Sanchez, as well as many others, his poor ball passing ability and his lack of confidence. But in this game against Everton, let's give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. He was spectacular. He was the hero and savior of Chelsea on the day. Chelsea needed a similar brilliant intervention from Tosin Adarabioyo, a man from West African country of Nigeria, but plays for his place of birth, the English national team, to stop Iliman India from converting a loose ball from 6 yards out. That would have been a hell of a goal. For all our possession, clear chances were at premium in the second half for Everton. Was Chelsea lucky to get away with a point in this game? Could we have taken all the 3 points, or could it have been worse? Well, let's get into it. There were 2 alterations to our last Premier League starting 11, which won against Brentford a week ago, with Axel Disasi and Pedro Neto coming into the side. The suspended Marc Cucurella and Noni Madueke made way. Noni would have made way anyways against Brentford, but for the suspension of Pedro Neto because of his recent blistering form that has seen Noni on the bench for some time anyways. But the absence of Cucurella was the moment everything fell apart, right in the face of Enzo Maresca, aka Kasongo. That was where the problems began. First of all, the absence of Cucurella was a big blow to the team. Cucu brings something spectacular to the team no other person brings. Adding to that, his recent love for scoring goals means that he is way up the pecking order. His ability to invert flawlessly and get back to defend with solid conviction and speed makes it difficult, if not impossible, for any right winger to flourish against Chelsea unless, of course, wardrobe malfunction. His boots. He's always a thorn in the flesh of every right winger, and so his absence due to a silly yellow card he attracted in our game against Brentford was definitely going to mean a holiday for Everton's right wing, and certainly problems for Chelsea. Yes, problems. Secondly, his replacement didn't help matters. Malo Gusto. The best way Chelsea could have compensated for the absence of Cuckoo was to play someone who is right and close to what Cuckoo brings. Gusto shifted across the left back, Axel Disasi on the opposite side with Tosin Adarabioyo and Lival Cowell in the heart of defense. The problem didn't come from the centre backs, as they proved to be a formidable force, at least in that game, blocking and removing most of the threats that came through from the other side, both in the air and on the ground. As a matter of fact, the central defense and the goalkeeper saved the game on the day. The real problem from a technical point of view was at the left back, the right back, and how Enzo Maresca played them. Malo Gusto, since the beginning of the season, has played very little at the left back position. He has been more at the right back side of things. Even with that, there are questions of his effectiveness when he inverts, which of course is subjective. Marc Cucurella's absence was undoubtedly felt. His unusual inverted fullback role fell to Malo Gusto, who seemed ill-suited to stepping into the midfield. Cucurella excels in this role, often finding himself in the advanced left-sided 8th position, whereas Gusto is better suited to his natural right-back position, especially with his defensive qualities. So many thought having a natural left-sided player in Renato Vega, who has shown his ability on countless occasions on that side, would have been a better alternative. Additionally, the lack of overlapping runs in the game from the fullbacks was an issue. Disasi's lack of natural fullback tendencies hindered fluid support on the right for Pedro Neto, while Jadon Sancho missed similar help on the left as he usually gets from the man Cuckoo. Cucurella's return will be vital for the team's tactical balance. Now, the weather. It is undeniable that the weather contributed to making the game more difficult, especially for the visiting side. The evening before the game, there were rumors that the game could be postponed because of the bad weather, just as we saw in EPL week round 15, Everton against Liverpool. It wasn't postponed, but the bad weather was visible in the game, affecting the players. Even the ball could not stay at one place for a free kick to be taken, pushing the ball away from the spot it's supposed to be taken, with many pundits who have played the beautiful game acknowledging the fact that those were not very good conditions to play and has caused Chelsea's inability to play as we've played recently. In swelling wind and rains, the Blues settled well. Inside the opening 10 minutes, Palmer drags a shot wide. Jackson nearly caught Pickford out after reaching a long pass first, and Neto fired straight at the England goalkeeper. Judging the weight of passes in the wind that ranged from moderate to extreme and continually changed direction was the biggest challenge facing the 22 players on the pitch, even those on the bench. Everton's typically solid shape also proved tough to break. With 25 minutes on the clock, we managed to do just that. The trademark Caicedo still opened up space for Neto to feed Palmer down the right, and he crossed low for Jackson. Only a fine Pickford save prevented the striker from opening the scoring. On the other half, Pickford again denied Jackson, although this time from a much tougher angle. Enzo Fernandez, excellent all afternoon, had played the incisive outside of the boot pass that penetrated the Toffees' backline. From the resulting corner, we had a great chance to take the lead. Enzo's set piece was flicked on and Jackson nodded against the post from the blank range, with Pickford charging out to thwart Gusto from the rebound. This was an opportunity I thought should have opened the scoring for Chelsea, but to our disappointment, it didn't. Following through on the fullback, Pickford was fortunate to get the slightest of touches on the ball, but after the post-match VAR review, Pickford was lucky to have gotten away with that. It should have been a penalty and a yellow card, from what we are told. It wasn't until 7 minutes before the break that our host threatened Sanchez's goal for the first time. Mangala drawing a fine full-length stop from the Spaniard. Sanchez produced an even better save when the action resumed, spreading himself to keep out Jack Harrison's close-range effort. A deep Ndia cross had found the former Leeds man and marked at the far post. Chelsea cranked up the pressure in response, winning a series of corners and free kicks in dangerous positions, and the contest became scrappier and the wind continues to howl. This is one area Chelsea really needs to work on: set pieces. Despite our territorial dominance, it was Everton who continued to create the most dangerous opportunities. Moments after Madueke and Christopher Nkunku replaced Neto and Jackson, Everton broke down our left, and Everton sub Jasper Lindstrom fired in a cross shot Sanchez did well to get a hand to, with Tosin reacting brilliantly to block the follow-up effort from Iliman Ndia to stop an important goal that would have been for Everton. As the rain returned later on, Chelsea battled hard in search of a moment of quality that could break down an Everton defense renowned for their durability on home soil. It did not prove forthcoming, so even though we fired a rare blank on our travels, we still returned to London with something to show for our efforts. So you ask, was it a point gained or points lost? I think it depends on how you look at it, but looking at all the factors that characterize this game, I think it was a point gained. It could have been worse. Both sides had some opportunities to win. Chelsea getting into this game had fundamental problems with our squad selection. That alone could have made us lose this game, and so it was our biggest challenge. If all our technical problems hadn't happened, we would have won this game for sure. But looking at what we presented, we gained a point because we could have gone back home empty-handed. What it then means is that Chelsea still hasn't lost a game in the last 9 games and is still in second place in the Premier League table at Christmas, and that is really good. We welcome Fulham to the bridge for our very local Boxing Day affair on the 26th, that's Thursday at 3 p.m. This game against Everton was a very important game to Cole Palmer because this game was his 50th Premier League game for Chelsea. And if you didn't hear a lot about him in this episode, it's because he had a bad game too. It would have been great to celebrate his 50th Chelsea match with a win and probably a goal. But all the same, I'm hopeful that the next game will be great because we are Chelsea. Check these end cards to watch how we previewed and reviewed the Everton game earlier. Peace, I'm out.